It is really good to be with you. I am Jamie Maciejewski, Executive Director here at Habitat for Humanity locally, and I'm joined by Maria Drury, our Director of Engagement. She's on screen, and by Genevieve Peterson, our Marketing and Communications Manager, who's here beside me, and she'll be introducing you to something really I'm really excited about toward the end of the talk. But it's wonderful to actually be with a group of business leaders, because I think you, more than most people in this community, understand the issue of housing, and that what we're talking about is not simply housing that's for people who are, it's not about housing. Actually, Habitat does not deal with homelessness housing. It is about housing for people who are critical workers in this community and are a part of the community. And I've heard many of you speak to City Council. I've heard others of you just talk one-on-one about the kind of challenges that businesses face in recruiting and retaining employees because of housing problems. So I want to walk through some slides and share a bit about where we are. Habitat's celebrating 25 years in this community, which we're really pleased about, but we've got a lot happening right now, and I want to try to walk through it and take questions. I think, Arlene, we're going to save questions toward the end, right? Should people put that in the chat and so on?
Absolutely, yeah, just type away in the chat and we will go through every single question there.
Super. All right, well, let me share my screen, the famous PowerPoint screen that pick the right screen here. There we go. I think we've got it. Am I right, Genevieve?
Got it.
Okay,
Perfect.
there we go. So 25 years, building the foundation for an affordable future. A group of AmeriCorps members joined us a year ago to raise walls. Some of them came from areas where they had been working with Habitat communities and hadn't even gotten to raise walls yet because the pandemic had so shut those communities down. It made me feel really sad about that, but also proud that this community figured out a way to keep building even through the most challenging times of our shutdown. Sharing, let's see, advanced screen. There we go. Reminding all of us that Habitat actually is about more than building houses. Our mission is bringing people together, and that is for the purpose of building homes but also for building communities and hope, with a vision that everybody's going to have a decent place to live. That's a big lift, but that's where we're going. We were founded in 1998, built the first homes in 99. Our store at the Roundabout now was first started more than 20 years ago. It wasn't there to start with, but it's been there for quite a while now. Most of us, that's the only place we remember it being. We have so far built or repaired and helped more than 100 families locally. We also work overseas. We're expected, as part of our participation as a Habitat for Humanity affiliate, to share a part of what we raise, the funds that we raise locally, to help overseas. And there are 3 countries we partner with: Ethiopia, Nepal, and Lesotho, which is in Southern Africa. Just some numbers here. I mean, lots going on. Fiscal 22, that's the year that ended last June. We built 5 homes. This year that ends in June, we're building 11, and that is a huge lift for us. We're going to, we've been working very hard at that for a while to make that kind of a doubling happen. We expect to kind of stay steady at that rate for a couple of years now, but we will be working towards doubling it again. So we, a 5-year vision, we are going to be working on an affordable community that I want to tell you more about in a few minutes. But there's just some basics. Habitat store, I hope you've been in it. I know many of you shop there or donate there. Just a reminder that we pick up, we send the box truck out, free pickups. We do deliveries at a small cost that covers our cost. And the proceeds from that, what's happening there, help to build houses. So thanks for supporting that revenue venture. It is a smallish part of our overall fundraising, but it's a really important part. We have several strategic commitments, and this is what I want to spend now some time talking about. Commitment to permanent affordability, some exploration of multifamily housing, looking at mixed income, permanently affordable communities, and then we want to talk about how we're engaging our community. So let's sort of pull each of those apart and talk about them. Permanent affordability to start with. About 3 years ago, our board made a commitment to move to a permanently affordable model where we will continue to own the land and will sell the house to an eligible buyer below what it would be at a market rate. And in exchange for an affordable mortgage, that buyer is going to agree to limit their future appreciation. That lets the buyer build wealth, but it also keeps the house affordable for who buys it next. So it's sort of a pay it forward model. We're really pleased to be working that model because what we found was when our homes, we have the right to buy back our homes. We've always had the right, but with the appreciation that this community has seen, especially in the last 3 to 5 years, it has made it much more difficult when someone is ready to sell their house, move out of the community, or have a larger house, something like that. We have the right to buy it back, but at the new market rate. And that has just been a crunch for us. So this new model is actually somewhat of an old model. It's used in many communities. It's sometimes called a community land trust model. It's not exactly a community land trust in the way we're doing it. It's lacking a couple of the features. And if someone wants to know more about that, we can talk about that in the question and answers. But the important thing to know is that by us continuing to own the land and lease the land to the homeowner, for 99 years, a renewable, inheritable lease, it feels like your own property. It just makes it possible for us to control the future appreciation so that in the when someone wants to sell it in 10 years, they'll realize some appreciation and certainly they'll get back all of the principal they've paid in on their mortgage, but they won't have the double-digit kind of increase in their appreciation that sometimes we see, or we've at least seen lately. So permanent affordability is one of our strategic commitments. It will allow us to make sure that what the community has invested in building the houses stays in the community as an investment, but it also protects the homeowners so that they end up with something important in their next step. Multifamily housing, another strategic kind of a venture for us. Land has been the single most expensive part of building houses. It's just when I look at the prices of land and what we're having to look at buying land at now, it's wow, it has changed how we look at land. So we're looking now and building in a much more effective, efficient use of land where we can look at each property that we own, how many houses really could we do? So this is a picture at the top of Landis and 18th Street, or an artist's conception. And probably many of you have driven along Landis and noticed these homes near 19th Street. There are 6 homes going up, 3 duplex style buildings. We call them paired homes. And those homes are the first time we've ever done that. We're really excited about it. We're going to have an open house in early May. If you're interested in knowing about that, please watch for it. Arlene, I think we could push that out to the chamber so that people could know about when that open house happens.
Yeah, we'd be more than happy to help you get that news into the community.
We'd love to do that. We think people would like to come by and see what it is that we're building and know that to be an affordable house does not mean it needs to be a bleak house. These are actually pretty exciting houses. On the bottom, you see another design there. That's 7 one-bedroom homes, a design done by Ross Chapin, an architect who some of you will be familiar with. He designed Umatilla Hill, he designed San Juan Commons, he's done cottage housing kind of throughout the country and made that an important strategic way that communities can get built. So there's in this month's chamber newsletter, there's an article about that, and I invite you to read more about how that came to be. A local business person had bought the land and started that venture and got a lot of the design, and we bought it from her and are working to make that happen. So it's a tricky project. We are not ready to break ground on it yet. We have to solve a few issues on it, but we're very excited about what that will be. It will, I think, appeal to this to a lot of people in this community. And when I say one-bedroom homes, some of you will go, oh, I know people that would really work well for. This being the oldest county in the state and one of the oldest counties in the country, there are a lot of people who are looking maybe to for an efficient kind of a housing situation. We are also working on a project right now with the city. We're working on platting another property that we own at Landis Street and 16th, where there could be up to 14 paired homes. And so we're just in the process of doing a subdivision plan on that. And the community comment period ended a few days ago. So we'll be looking at that more and looking forward to getting more information out about it. We love the Landis Street location because it's walkable to so much, to Safeway and the transit center and downtown, and it's a great location. It's walkable to schools. We're pretty excited about that. We feel like it's a great place for people in this community to be able to live sustainably. I want to then talk about another strategic priority we have, which this is new for us, a mixed income strategy of a permanently affordable community. I imagine most of you have heard that we purchased a property a few months ago in Port Hadlock. It's an old airfield, so it's nice and level, behind the library, behind the primary school, 17 acres. With the sewer development, it will hold up to 200 homes. It will be zoned that way. We don't know how many homes we'll be designing on it, but the vision which came to us because community members came to us with this vision is that this be a mixed income community that's affordable to a broad range of our workforce and our residents. So Habitat Homes, which serve people under about 80% of the area median income, will maybe be a third of the community. The rest of the community will be a little higher income level. For example, people who work as nurses, as teachers, who work in emergency services, in businesses, certainly. So really exciting opportunity, and that will include the ability to have rental homes as well as home ownership. There's a picture, an aerial picture of the property. You can see, here's the primary school, and here's the library, and this is Ness Corner Road. If you went this direction, you'd get to QFC and at the blinking light in Port Hadlock. And if you went the opposite direction, you would get to Rhodey Drive. So that kind of orients you where it is. You'll see we've been doing quite a bit of work on the property. It needed a lot of cleanup. And if you drive by, I hope you enjoy seeing what it looks like. Donors made this vision possible. When we first were approached by the community members about it, Habitat, we looked at it and we said, is there any way we could really make this happen? The property was on the market for over $1 million. We knew enough to know that once we bought it and installed just the streets and utilities, we were talking about a $5 million price tag. That's a lot of money before you even start to build houses. Jefferson Community Foundation came into this. They were part of the original approach, and they were terrific. Siobhan Canty helped so much, and donors stepped up to the plate. And by the time our board needed to make a decision whether to go, no go on purchasing the property in May, donors had committed almost $4.5 million toward this project. That is such an important statement of the community that workforce housing is vital to this community's thriving. And I'm just thrilled that this is going to be a reality. The sewer has already started construction. We expect it to be available in 3 years or so. And at that point, we'll be able to do more construction. We have, let me share a little bit more here. So I already mentioned this, community partners are going to need to address the homes that are over Habitat's limit. And we are looking for partnerships, not only builders, but also organizations and businesses that are looking at housing solutions for their employees and the people that they serve. So we'd be really interested to hear from you if you go, oh my gosh, my business we would love to do something that allowed some of our employees to have housing there. We could think creatively about that. And I'd like to hear from you about that. Here's sort of our timeline. We are working at gathering community input right now. We have, yesterday was today actually is the deadline for proposals from firms that would do the master plan on this project. The master plan will show what this is going to look like after a lot of community dialogue. It will design it and say, how is this going to work? How do we make this, how do we incorporate green space and other amenities? How do we make it be a lovely place that people want to live? The master plan is not just about the visuals, though. It's also about the financials and how this is going to get paid for and how it's going to work. It's also about the partnerships and who's going to be part of building this. The sewer infrastructure, we expect, as I said, about 3 years from now for that to be evolved. And I'm just, this part of Habitat's strategic vision to evolve to being able to serve people at a very broad range of incomes, where Habitat still is holding the property to make all of it permanently affordable, but it is a broad range of people in the community is exciting to us. This, I saw Jefferson Transit's on this Zoom call that you have a great little transit runs right by this property. We think it's going to be a great location for people. This will not be, we will have covenants on this that will prohibit properties from being vacation rentals or second homes. These will all be primary homes for people who live in this community and need to be in this community. So I'm pretty excited about that. I want to turn this over now to Maria to talk about engaging the community and what we want to know about that.
Thanks, Jamie, and thank you all for being a part of this today's well, our presentation, but what we hope is a conversation, and I'm pretty confident we'll have plenty of time for that during this hour that we spend together. And part of what makes that so important is how important community is to Habitat. It is the central part of our mission. We bring people together to build community. We bring people together to build homes, and the result of both of those is that we hope that the people that we bring together are creating really tangible, I'll speak a little louder, Larry, thank you. We're really hopeful that bringing people together will result in hope within our community. And the Chamber embodies community. They are such a facilitator and catalyst for business community, and each one of you are probably a part of sub-communities within our larger community. And there are many ways that each of you individually, organizationally, and collectively can be a part of Habitat. And this slide speaks a little bit to that. We could not do what we are currently doing, building 11 homes this year, with a plan to build 11 homes next year, and to significantly ramp that up in parallel with the Mason Street project over the next 5 years. We can't do that ourselves. We need and we rely on the participation of volunteers who come forward individually, but also as members of businesses or civic organizations or faith organizations through our group builds on our construction sites. As we're moving into spring, it's the time when we move into group build season. So that is a wonderful way to be a part of what we do on a volunteer as volunteers. But there are other ways too. I was thinking about this as I was coming to work this morning. And what I would say is, if you have an interest in being a part of creating affordable housing in our community, and if you have interests and skills, we can figure out how to pair those with your desire to be a part of making affordable housing a reality for people that can't find it right now. As you know, every nonprofit relies to a significant extent on the generosity of our community, and we are incredibly grateful and fortunate to live in a generous community, all of East Jefferson County. And that is also a way that you can participate in being a part of the affordable housing solution through your individual or organizational financial support of Habitat. That's ranging from $5 a month, which builds up over the course of a month, to we have individual donors that sponsor homes, and there are lots of different ways to do that, and I would be happy to engage in those conversations. One interesting opportunity, and because I'm speaking to a business community right now, is it is our 25th year, and we are planning a 25th anniversary celebration in September, and we have our committee has really recognized that business support in sponsoring that event would be a wonderful way to help us celebrate 25 years, and for us also to shine a light on the business community. So I really encourage you, if you are interested as a business, to do something like that, again, to be in touch with me. And then finally, there are other ways that organizations can be a part of what we are doing at Habitat across the tripartite, the three facet part of our mission. And that involves some creative dialogue and some creative conversation. And in particular, what Jamie mentioned about Mason Street is there are many different conversations that we've already begun having, but we are looking forward to continuing and deepening. And that is the opportunity to be a part of looking at how we develop this community on Mason Street. And we've been having community conversations. The next one is coming up on March 23rd. It's going to be at the Jefferson County Library in the Humphrey Room. It will be available via Zoom as well as in person, and we do hope to record that. But we are also happy to come if you have a group of people or a group of organizations or civic or commercial or business and would like to brainstorm with us on how we collectively and creatively create more affordable homes that people in our community can own. Let us know, because I think that how we're going to bridge this gap that we have in our community will be something that we solve together. So hopefully that sparks some ideas and how you can join us in this journey. And thanks for being here today with us.
Thanks, Maria. I'm going to give this now to Genevieve Peterson. I told you she has something special.
Hi, good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us at this creative cafe, or at this Chamber Cafe. It's very creative. I'm actually going to share my screen here. Hopefully everybody can see this. Every year, Habitat, as a nonprofit, publishes an annual report. And annual reports, everybody's familiar with them, typically talk a lot about the financials, what's going on with the organization, what was achieved in the previous fiscal year. This year, Habitat is calling its annual report an impact report, and we're focused heavily on the impact that, thanks to everybody in East Jefferson County, we've really been able to have an incredible amount of impact. The report is also online this year. So in the past, we've done printed reports. We've heard from a number of our constituents that they actually would like us to figure out how to use less paper. Good challenge for us. And it was actually really great too to create this online report, because it enabled us to do a lot more in terms of content and interactivity. So we will provide the URL for this, but if you go to Habitat's homepage, habitatejc.org, there are links to this impact report. And I'm just going to walk you through this really briefly here. So,
Still showing the presentation.
oh, it's still showing. Okay, so I need to, I'm going to reshare and make sure that we're actually, okay, great. Now everybody can see it. So on the landing page of the impact report, you'll be able to scroll down. You'll be able to see a video that has a lot of information about just some fun facts about how many shingles we've installed over the last 25 years, gallons of paint used, and even things like the value of all of the homes, all of the Habitat homes in East Jefferson County as of fiscal 2022. We talk about why home matters. So there's information that Habitat International has done a lot of research about what home means to people, why it's important, and how owning home is extremely important for people's civic involvement, education, health, and many other things. And hopefully this is showing up okay over Zoom. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of interactive content. We have recently done a homeowner survey, and we've shared the results of that. So you can see what impact owning a home has had on Habitat homeowners. I'll just share a couple of statistics here. You can see that 100% of them say that their life improved after moving into their Habitat home. And once you visit the site, you can scroll through these to see what other data are there and what Habitat homeowners have said about owning a home. There is a video conversation with Jamie and also our board president, Jim Golden. And then at the bottom of every page, you can always scroll back to the top and go to the other links within the report. The people page is all about people who are involved with Habitat. So, and these are community members. We have some quotes from homeowners, more statistics on why home matters and the sources for that data. As Maria mentioned, Habitat is about bringing people together. So we talk about time, talent, and treasure, and the different ways that people come together to create affordable housing in our community. Lots of great content. And then we also have our lists of people who have contributed their time, talent, and treasure to Habitat. The timeline is a fun page. It's really a great way to just look at what has Habitat been up to since 1998. There are some fun old pictures and some content, again, that you can click on, read more about, and learn about. You can scroll all the way to the bottom. I won't do that for you today, but you can see what the future vision for Habitat is as well. We talk about the store. With some fun facts and figures about the gross revenue in fiscal 2022. Interestingly enough, a lot of that comes from donated cars, and not everybody knows that Habitat accepts car donations. Information about our volunteers. In this last year, we had 98 volunteers who made the store a wonderful place. And what's really cool is that the store actually won 2 awards. They won Best Furniture Store and Best Secondhand Store from the Peninsula Daily News Reader's Choice. If you want to peek into the future, Jamie actually talked about it with permanent affordability, multifamily housing, and mixed income communities. There's a page here that's dedicated to all of that information. Of course, we have the numbers. And the numbers are not just financial numbers, but we talk about the many people that have been served over the last 25 years, including in our global locations. So it's a little map that pinpoints where Habitat is located here in East Jefferson County, but also our locations where we support Habitat partners across the world. You can get a nice video from our board treasurer, and of course the information where you can download the full financial audits and the Form 990s. And last but not least, you're always welcome to get involved with Habitat, and there's a page dedicated to the many different ways that you can do that. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing that. I'm going to go back to the presentation. And this is just the information about where to see our impact report and how to get in contact with Habitat.
And I think that kind of wraps us up, Arlene. Thanks, Genevieve, for sharing that. That's brand new today. It's just launched, so it's kind of fun to be able to share.